Hey, Irina. You know, girl, when you gonna give us that calf? We're waiting. We're waiting on you. Hey guys, it's Rhett from the 100 Acre Wood Highlands. Figured I would go around today and give you guys an update on what's happening on the farm, the calves that have been born, and it's just a beautiful day outside, so wanted to show you around a little bit. This year has, fortunately for us, been the year of the heifer calf. And thankfully, because last year seemed to be year of the bull calf. Last year, it just seemed like we had bull calf after bull calf after bull calf, and most of the people that contact us looking for calves want a heifer. And we're trying to grow our fold, so we were wanting to keep some heifers too. This year has been basically the opposite. We've had 2 bulls and 6 heifers, and we're still expecting probably 2 more calves, and the only one that we've lost was, unfortunately, Bernadette's here. Bernadette is one of my favorite cows. She is a sweetheart, and she's not old, but she's one of our older cows. She was born in 2017, and for whatever reason, she's kind of the bottom of the totem pole around here. She gets bullied on, she gets picked on, and so I don't know what the deal was, but she disappeared off into the woods in October. And I only found that out because I came out one day and started looking around and couldn't find her. And only explanation was she was hidden somewhere. And we have a block of about 30 acres of trees that is thick as can be. The only way through it's on foot. And at that, you can only get through really on some paths that a forestry mulcher made for us through there. And we just couldn't find her. I would come out with cubes and holler for the cows, and everybody would come up but her. I think it was about the 3rd day I finally saw her way away from the other cows, and I kind of got excited because usually if I can't find a cow, it can mean that they've gone off and had a calf and they're by themselves, and when I find them, there'll be a calf on the ground. So we found her. She had a little bit of blood on her tail, so we knew that, okay, calf probably has been born, but there was no sign of any calf. Same thing the next day. Can't find a calf anywhere, but there she is. And so we eventually took her into the vet just to have things checked out, and they kind of confirmed that she probably has had a calf, but it probably didn't make it. And so that was sad news because she's given us 2 great heifers the last 2 years, both that we've kept, and we were looking forward to see what we would get from her this year. But unfortunately for this sweet girl, that was a calf that didn't make it, and we never did find it. I even went out with the dogs and looked around to see if we could find a carcass or anything like that, but one never showed up. But I suspect she was off in the woods, had a calf, had a hard time, and we couldn't find it. You know, when we did some AIing, we knew relatively close to when a calf was going to be born, and we could get those cows and put them in a pen and keep an eye on them for any assistance. But I've really only ever had to help one cow have a calf so far that truly needed it. That was Penny's calf, and that was, I think, in 2021. She had a calf that was born completely backwards. I was there filming the whole thing, and she stood up. The calf was still in the sack and went back inside of her, facing the wrong direction. I called the vet. Didn't have any clue what to do. I'm in work clothes. I'm getting ready to go to the office. And they said, well, you either need to catch the cow and bring her in, or you might have to assist her. Well, eventually a hoof came out. We were able to get the other hoof, pulled out the calf as she was pushing, and it lived. And so that's been really the only one we've ever had much trouble with. Last year we did lose a couple of calves. We lost one calf that was born in a really, really cold stretch of ice and snow, and it was just born of an awful time. We were out of town. My sister found the calf, put it in her truck, took it to the vet, and it died later that day of just hypothermic conditions. So that was just unfortunate timing and not much we could do about it. The other 2 were our mystery disappearances. We had 2 cows. Pepper had one and Jasper had one that were born up, walking, appeared to be good, and then a day or 2 later gone, disappeared. And I have no way of knowing, but I think it could have been coyotes. So we've hunted some coyotes, we've trapped some coyotes, we've gotten rid of a few of those, and hopefully won't have that problem again. But this year we've had much better luck with calves being born alive and healthy, and had a lot of heifers. So Moose has had a heifer, PC Emporia's had a heifer, Hallie's had a heifer, Jasper's had a heifer, and then two of our unregistered cows, Sarah and Goldie, have had heifers. We've had Pepper had a bull calf that is a beautiful dun little color. We're gonna go find him here in a second. I think we have found a future home for him once he's of weaning age. Had somebody contact me that is interested in showing him, which will be really cool. I would love to show someday, but really not prepared for that right now. Too many other things in the world happening. But I think it'll be really cool if they do purchase him and show him and kind of find out, how he does. And then we've had one other bull from one of our unregistered ones, and that will become a steer when we kind of gather them all in the weaning pen and start working them a little bit. We'll put bands on him and probably have that done at the vet, because usually at about 6 months old we'll take them all in just to have them worked, vaccinated, and everything like that, and we'll probably band him at that time. Right now we've got 3 steers left over from last year that now are a year old, and when they hit about 30 months old or so, we'll process some of those for beef and maybe sell a little bit. So let's go see what kind of calves we can find here. So this little red calf here was Bernadette's from last year. We named her Windy Darling of HW, which is HW is our herd letters for 100 Acre Wood. So Windy Darling of the 100 Acre Wood. We decided to keep her. She seems like she's going to be a sweetheart. A few of the other calves hanging out over here in the shade. This one on the right, this one's got a little white spot on her tail. It's kind of unique. I don't think I've had that before, but that's from one of our unregistered ones. Had a little heifer calf early in the year. This is Hallie. Hallie has grown up and no longer a heifer. She's got herself her first calf. It was a kind of a surprise finding this one, because I was actually out deer hunting, and I'd gotten out of my stand and was going to move to a different location after a few hours, and I got in a new spot, and all of a sudden out came a calf from behind a tree that I hadn't seen before. It didn't have an ear tag on it. So I quit hunting and went and checked it out, and it was Hallie's. We bought Bernadette and Hallie together when Hallie was just about 6 months old, and now she's had her first little calf. I've been keeping all my ear tagging supplies kind of with me all the time, because if I come out here and check, it is certainly a lot easier to get a ear tag on one when they're just a few hours old versus a day or two old. PC Emporia's walking over there to her mama. Just walked up, she was sleeping, ear tag in, good job. A lot of the others, if I find them and they're a few hours old, I have to lasso them, and sometimes mama don't like it real well. So the little dun bull calf, when we find him in a minute, his tags kind of twist turn the wrong way around because he was struggling with the lasso, and mama was kind of PO'd that I was messing with her baby. But I've got one that doesn't have an ear tag at all, because I didn't see it until it was about 2 days old, and there was no catching it right then at that point. So we'll have to get an ear tag on that one later. There's Emporia's little calf. That's one of the ones I'm excited about. I think for sure that'll be one of the ones we retain, but probably we'll keep 2 of the heifers that were born and look at selling a few of the rest. The last 2 calves that Emporia have had have been bulls, and heard from one of the people that purchased Clayton from us a couple years ago and said that he's doing really, really well. He's got a real docile demeanor, and they're super happy with him. And so finally we get a heifer from her. One of the only 2 bulls born so far. Right here, this is that's number 47. That's Sansa. She had a little bull calf, and this will be one of our unregistered ones. And so this one, he'll become a steer eventually. We need some of those because we'd like to have a steer coming of age about every year, 1 or 2 of those at least for our own personal use and for some friends and family that want to purchase some beef from us. So it's good to have at least 1 or 2 born. Got a couple of cows sleeping over here away from the rest of the ones. This is Annie and Pearl. They're our Texas cows. A couple of years ago, we had a family kind of north of Dallas a little bit reach out to us that had a couple of Highland cows in their yard. Basically, had a large yard, but they're getting to where the point they wouldn't stay off the porch, and they wanted to find a new home for them. And so we were glad to take them, and they seem to be on a different schedule than everybody else because one of them had a calf in April when the rest were basically born October through January, and it was a little Hereford calf. It must have got over there in with a neighbor, a little hussy. And the other one hadn't had a calf yet, so don't know exactly what her deal is, but we're keeping an eye on them too, but they'll just be a little bit later on more likely. Well, I had to go searching to find the rest of the cows. We plant about an acre's worth of beets and radishes every year to deer hunt in, and if I can't find the cows, a lot of times I'll come over here because after deer hunting season, I take down the electric fence and they come in here and graze on what's left. But that little dun one back there is the one that I think we found a home for. We haven't come up with a name for any of these calves yet. I need to get started on that. They've already asked, what are you going to call this calf? And I don't know. But I need to come up with a good name for him. I think he's an awesome color. And this other little red one right here, this is Jasper's calf. Jasper is one of the ones that last year calf was born. It was her first calf last year. My sister and niece and nephew were with me. We watched it nurse. We took some pictures. Seemed to be doing great. And then suddenly the next day, it's gone. And I have no idea what happened to it, but I'm liking the look of that one. And if we end up keeping 2, I'm debating about PC Emporia's and Jasper's here. So I probably won't decide exactly until we get a little bit closer to weaning time, but I think she'd be a good one. There's Jasper there. She's a cow that we got from Nebraska. Drove up there, picked up 3 cows, brought them back. We auctioned off 2 as fundraiser for our association, and I had 2 blowouts on the way home from Nebraska. So finally, getting a little calf from her is great. And there's that little squirrely dude with the messed up ear tag, trying to get a drink. Mama won't hold still. If that one was a heifer, I would be keeping that. I don't know, even though this one's just kind of young, I like the look of Jasper's calf there. The past couple of years when calves have been born, I really didn't take the time to halter train any of the ones that we kept because we weren't going to show. I didn't necessarily need them halter trained, but I'm thinking this year that the ones that we do decide to keep, we'll work on the halter training a little bit while they're in the weaning pen. I think that'd be kind of nice to have a couple more that are just real docile and gentle to be around. And here is the last calf that you haven't been introduced to. This is Sarah's, and Sarah's doesn't have an ear tag because by the time I found it, it was a couple days old and didn't want to be caught. Sarah is probably either my oldest or second oldest cow, and she has developed a limp just in the past few days. If it doesn't get any better, we're probably going to take her in. I don't exactly know how old she is, but not a good sign when they got a limp. She seems to be getting around on it, just hobbles on it. Well, thanks for watching, guys. We'll try to keep you updated with what's going on around the farm, all the calves, all that are born. Hopefully we get those last couple born that we're still expecting. If you haven't already, you make a big difference to us if you'd subscribe to our channel. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram by searching 100 Acre Wood Highlands. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.